RCF began simply as an idea, a seed that needed to be nurtured, and it was nurtured by a lot of caring individuals throughout the community, and it's slowly taken roots into the entire Northern Rivers area.
I thought it was the most amazing concept to have a funding body in our area rather than the kind of faceless bodies that I was used to applying for grants to. I got a job as the first communications officer with the foundation, started talking to the first donors and learning about this amazing concept of having a fund that would exist in perpetuity and then the income from that fund being used for community projects, and having people who knew and loved our community making the decisions about what would get funded.
Like the Paul Kelly song, "From little things, big things grow." Well, that was us. We had faith in that little thing.
The measure of any community is the way it supports the most disadvantaged. And I think that applies in the Northern Rivers as it does anywhere else in the world. If someone's falling behind, we need to help them.
It's a really beautiful, heartfelt feeling to know that through our donations, that it gets to help so many people that are less fortunate than us.
This is a really unusual area of Australia. We've got some incredibly wealthy people and we've got some incredibly poor people. We've got both extremes. I think it's really good that some of the wealthy people can do things which help out the people who aren't so fortunate.
Money is like manure. It's made to spread around. If you pile it up, it stinks. I've always followed that philosophy and I encourage other people to do the same.
We've got so much resource and money's just part of it. It's more the spirit of it and what comes of people connecting, that donor-recipient relationship that is really powerful.
Australia's Seabird and Turtle rescue and rehabilitate sick and injured sea turtles, seabirds, shorebirds and sea snakes. We are helping these animals go from being really, really unwell or injured from human impacts, and then we're bringing them back to good health, and then we're able to release them back out into the wild. The main things we see for seabirds is fishing-related injuries. If I even look back at last month, we had 52 animals rescued. The Northern Rivers Community Foundation have helped us a lot by providing critical equipment that we need in when we're going out and rescuing or even rehabilitating these animals. Without these grants, we really can't do the work that we do.
Wildlife and habitat, those two things are really crucial in my mind. What's really struck me today is listening to Amanda speak about her work with the creatures, the turtles and the birds, and the very visceral detail of that, but also seeing her relationship with the creatures. Being able to give to a cause like this makes me feel like I'm doing my purpose, and it feels good to be like a contributor to that process.
This is the highest point in the Byron Shire. It's 6 kilometres from the lighthouse. Overlooks the ocean. You can see far to the east and to the south. And it was a complete cow paddock 3 years ago. Absolutely nothing of ecological value on the site. And now we're in this rapid stage of reclaiming it back to some decent portion of rainforest like it was before.
I actually really worry a lot about the direction the planet's going in terms of climate change, global warming. Reforest now are doing a fantastic job. They're turning pretty well dead farmland into pristine native forests again, which host a huge variety of animal and plant life. He blew me away when he showed me trees that he planted in September 2021. Like, these are 15 metres tall, 16 metres tall, and they've got a beautiful canopy.
Australia is a rough place. And ecosystems like this are non-negotiable. We need to have them back. If this is somewhere that nature can put in 1.8 metres of rain per year, then this must be restored. Destroying 99.6% of this ecosystem is an injustice that will be undone, And it's not just by Reforest now, there's a few hundred more people working in this area. When you go and seek out other places of reforestation, you learn the Northern Rivers has an incredible hub of highly skilled regenerators. So I believe in them and us all together. I believe the community here won't let anything bad happen to the forests here.
A lot of the organisations that the NRCF supports doing their bit to turn back the clock and get it back to the thriving nature wonderland that it once was.
The main thing about the foundation is that it connects like-minded people together, people, with a giving heart, and it forms a family in a way.
When you get people in a room, you give people collectively the power to say, what's it going to look like? What's the future going to feel like? How are we going to get there? They start to bounce off each other's ideas. It's nearly like because you say something, I feel it's okay to name that.
The unique experience that I've had with the NRCF, in particular with the Women's Giving Circle, is that it brings together all of these different people into one room where we have the commonality of wanting to contribute and wanting to make active change, but we all come from really different environments. So you've got people that are in there who've come from more of a social impact background, you've got businesses in there, and then you've also got those that are going for the grants who've been successful with the grants, sharing their story and sharing the work that they're really doing at that grassroots level, and then all of a sudden we're all in a room having conversations.
I'm really aware how I can make a tiny little contribution to things, but if we all get together, it is so much bigger.
When it comes to getting a collective or a community involved with contribution, it can seem really big, and often pennies can seem really small. But when you come together, it means that all of a sudden those pennies pooled becomes something substantial that can have impact.
Foundation is so about possibility. It really is. It's that sum is greater than the parts. What can we do when we come together? What can we make that's bigger than us?
I think people strive for connection, whether they do it consciously or unconsciously. It's almost hardwired in our DNA to help others. It's as if we go back hundreds of thousands of years, only the tribes that had support survived.
I have always thought that the community helped make us, Byron Bay Coffee Company, who we are today, because of their support. So from a very early start, Franco and I have always given back to the community. Everyone's in need out there, and if you've become a successful company, then I think that it's just something you should do. And, giving starts at home, and you have to look after your own community first.
I've been here for 44 years, and I'd like the money to go locally, not to go nationally or overseas. I think we've got to look after our local community first. They give a lot to us, and it's nice to give back to them.
From my point of view, everybody really needs to give where they live. We have all chosen to make our homes in the Northern Rivers. This is where our kids go to school. This is where we go out to the forests and the rivers and the coastline and enjoy this natural environment. We can all be a part of helping make this community and this environment that we live in a much better and stronger one.
One of the stories that really touched me was Story Dogs, and it's the organisation that takes dogs into schools or into classrooms or into rooms with children who can't read, who for whatever reason can't speak in public, and it brings the emotion up in me every time. They have the child read to the dog, and the dog's tail just wags, doesn't care if the child stumbles. That story touched my heart and still does.
Back in 2022, we had a pretty catastrophic event happen in our community, and it affected not just Lismore, but it affected everywhere. The reason we went for the funding and the need that we've seen was particularly for our youth. This just creates an opportunity for us to look at filling the gaps and allowing these young people not to fall through those gaps. For us, it's the success of being able to support young people to strive to be better, and more importantly, not just a one-off situation, and it's being involved with them throughout their journey, being there for them when they need us to be there.
Today we're here with Sprung Ensemble, which is an ensemble of emerging artists with disability and or who are deaf, and we make new contemporary dance and performance work. Sprung brings people together. It's welcoming, it's inclusive, it provides a safe space for people with disability and or who are deaf to come together and explore arts and cultural experiences in the ways that they want to.
We come here to dance as our work. We make connections through our bodies, our connections with our dancers, and having connections with all our different parts of our bodies to make art. Sprung's so special because it's my family, and Sprung is like a fun dance with your friends.
So recently when we hit the $10 million giving milestone, that was a big moment for us. There's been 20 years of volunteer efforts, 20 years of various community members all contributing towards that point. That's $10 million that's been directed by community members into those areas of most need.
Anything collective is where we need to be going. We need to be relying less on government to do everything.
We don't want to sit around and wait for government after disasters. We want community to be empowered and resourced to make their own decisions so they can action the need that they see.
Don't wait for somebody else to come and solve your problems. There's no them that's going to come and fix anything up. It's up to you, it's up to me to create the world we want to live in.
The 20 years of impact, to me, that just means the beginning. At the heart of a community foundation model is perpetuity. And so 20 years is a fraction of how long we're going to be around and helping this community of givers and change makers create a better future.
We are like a tree. We just keep on growing, keep on giving fruit, and it will be there forever.
And I think there's no stopping us now. We're going to be a forest. We're not just going to be a tree. We're going to be a forest.